Welcome to Grow D2C. Let's begin.
One of the key aspects for any increasing, especially when this news of economic downturn has come into the picture, right? And many companies have raised a certain alarm, as well as brands which have been bootstrapped, focusing on business basics, right? It is a good news for them. So just wanted to know from your perspective as well, how do you see fundraise versus bootstrapping with this economic downturn news coming into picture? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this for sure ties into, to a certain extent, the discussion about resource mapping and what you have really to set up your business, and or what your vision is really, and whether how much you want to deleverage your personal stake in the same. And each person has a different risk appetite. I can speak about my views on funding, and I'm sure while my cocktail conversation version of this has changed in the last year.
Yeah.
As someone who's been groomed by my family, someone who works with synergies with my co-founder, I like to think that business fundamentals are the most important thing to sort out, because regardless of whether you're chasing funding or not chasing funding, you have to be working on that. So I'm saying, even if you get funding, you would be working on business fundamentals. If you are there as a high intent founder to execute your long-term vision. I think economic downturns suck in general, but they also bring a lot of clarity to a very muddy space. They bring valuations in check. So downturns can be one of the best ways of ensuring a survival of the fittest, or a survival of the most enduring or the most dedicated to their craft. And you'll know that from, in general, D2C founders, I'm including myself in this remark, but we tend to have a sense of privilege in starting a business, because you can't launch a business. Most often, it's very difficult to launch a business unless you have a product, and you need to have a certain amount of resources to put in initially. And that varies from each person's capacities. You can, with Shopify and stuff, you can start it super small. Let's focus on your product and drop ship and do all kinds of things. India drop shipping is a bit difficult, but it's possible to start off with minimal resources. But most people have to entertain the the funding question at various points of that journey. So in light of what you mentioned about an economic downturn, I think it brings about clarity. It also, at the same time, casts an air of uncertainty about a very defined period of time. And it's really funny, because if you ask this question to somebody 6 months ago, everyone's saying D2C is hot, like it's super trendy. It's a great thing to be. And then suddenly everyone's a genius, and all are stating that we've changed our thesis. We realize this. I feel like nobody was actively trying to think about the consequences of such a mega year of deals, and what impact it has on the constraints and the limitations of even the distribution channels, right? Like Facebook ad revenue is directly proportionate to VC money. And we know that as that money goes, the ROI in this channel is just going to deplete, or is going to have marginal returns, diminishing marginal returns. So what we focus on is business, how we can generate the most value for ourselves, but most importantly for the customers, because then that your acquisition costs are just a fraction of what value you're able to not just extract, but also give to your customer in the long term.